Welcome to this coaching guided meditation on guilt. One of the interesting things about guilt for me is it doesn't do anything for us. It sits like a pool of water that is really becoming, deoxygenated and stale and just bleh. You get me. And I think it's important that we address guilt as quickly as possible. So I'm not saying you cannot feel guilt. Yes, of course you can. But let's not hold on to it. Because I know people who hold on to guilt for years and it's not good for them. So if you're ready to explore guilt in your own world, then closing your eyes, just making sure that you've got enough time, 10 to 15 minutes, to give you this time and space, your time and space, to enable you to explore whatever it is you need to explore around guilt today. Knowing that if you needed to get up from this, you could be up and opening your eyes and alert in a fraction of a second if the need called. But in the meantime, just start getting comfortable, allowing yourself to be there where you are. And I'm going to count from 5 to 1. And with each count, you're going to allow yourself, give yourself permission to go deeper and deeper into the relaxation. For those of you who are following me regularly, you will be learning now how to get into relaxation faster and faster. So with 1, letting go of tension, feeling your muscles going limp, heavy. 2, your eyelids now closed are feeling heavier and heavier. It just takes too much effort to even open them. 3, becoming more and more relaxed, comfortable, feeling a sense of calm. 4, sinking into a pleasant feeling of relaxation. And 5, allowing your unconscious mind to take you to the level of calm relaxation that it's allowing you to go to today. That's right. Well done. And we're talking guilt today. And we've all got some guilt, little pockets of, but I want you to start to work on the bigger ones. So they come from a number of different sources. And I don't know which one works for you, but just recognize any patterns that you may have. That you may have treated somebody badly or spoken to them in an inappropriate way. Maybe you violated your own moral code or value system. Made a mistake you wish you had not made. The biggest place we feel guilt is around our children. And let me tell you right now, right off the bat, that is normal. Holding on to it is pointless because every parent in the world will have had some form of guilt. Maybe there was something you could have prevented from happening that did happen. Maybe you feel responsible for something that happened and you take it personally. And it doesn't much matter what your guilt is about. Just that, I want you to notice right now how you feel guilt and where this guilt might be. Because it's time today to start to change it, to let it go. And I don't know if a specific memory comes to mind or not. But if it does, let's go there now. And if not, just imagine the guilt itself. It's okay. As you go to the guilt, wherever it is, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And I want you to think back to that time. If you had that situation again, what would you have done, said, or been that's different? Because I know this guilt feels heavy. You may be thinking it's all my fault. I deserve this. Things would have been different. All this guilt inside me. So that when you look at that event, there was a part of you that could have done something different. And maybe, you know, in a different time, you would. But back then, you didn't have the knowledge, the skills, the abilities, the experience, whatever it was, you didn't have it. But we're going to give it to that you in a moment, because this guilt is sort of eating you up in some ways inside. I know you probably feel like you deserve this punishment and that you may think that you're a bad person. You're not. You're human. And whatever part of you has this guilt just needs something. Needed something then and it needs something now. Guilt is just a way of saying that it needs something. And I don't know how long it's been around for you. It could have happened yesterday, last week. Could have happened years ago. It makes no difference. This process will help. And it can be easy to start to let it go with this process I'm going to take you through. Because it's time to let it go. It's time to replace that guilt with a healing of some sort. I don't know what that would be. Unconditional love is usually the way I go, but there may be other ways that you can do this. Forgiveness, acceptance, whatever works for you. Because it's time for you to move forwards, to stop punishing yourself, to realize that potentially whoever else was involved in that will have moved on. So it's about time of letting it all go now. So when you've got that memory of a guilty you, whatever was going on for you, really get a sense of that in your head. Bring back that memory. Yes, bring back the feeling of the guilt and notice where you're feeling it. And if guilt had a color, what color would you give it? What shape would you give it? What size? Because it's okay. And whether that's in your head, your heart, or your gut, or somewhere else, it really doesn't much matter, because it doesn't make any difference. So what did you need? What would have helped you to be different in that situation? It doesn't really matter, because what we're going to do is we're just changing the memory. Does that make sense? Changing the memory of that time. And it's just like rewriting, I don't know, a page in your diary so that it was what you would have wanted to happen. Because what happens is the brain takes a snapshot, for this case, a guilty situation. You've got a photo image of what happened. And that is what the brain keeps going back to. No, do not need to do that anymore. Now is the time to be different. So when you're there, just list out what you needed. Support, maybe. Maybe you were stressed and you didn't do as good a job as you wanted. Maybe you hadn't had much sleep and you were short-tempered and cross. Maybe it was somebody who was always pulling upon you and tugging at your heartstrings. Maybe there was some emotional blackmail. Whatever it was, what did you need? Support. Maybe you needed some understanding, some love, that it's okay. Whatever you were doing or did, it was just where you were right then. It's not where you are now. What else might you need? Some comfort, perhaps, in the aftermath? Maybe you needed some words of wisdom. I want you to imagine connecting with this younger you, wherever they may be. And whether you can connect with them head to head or heart to heart or gut to gut, whichever works for you. Maybe you could see yourself whispering in your ear, that younger you, holding them, letting them know it's okay, it's done. Forgiving them. It's easy to do it with hindsight. Forgiveness. Because we're looking at this from a higher perspective, aren't we? We are looking at this and exploring this from a place of deeper wisdom that you've gained over time, that this younger you didn't have. Whatever you need to do, forgive that younger you. Accept that they did what they did. Give them everything they need. If it's love, do that. Hold them, hold their hand, touch their shoulder, embrace them so that they feel secure with your arms around them. Talk to them, the pearls of wisdom. And you may not know what they are, and you don't need to know. You just need to know that you're connecting with them, and they can download all your knowledge now in a way that helps them start to shift and change. And it's a process. So this can continue after this recording is finished, such that you can check in to this you in a couple of days' time, a week, and see how they're doing. But you might actually start to see and feel those changes right now, because that guilt's not working. So if you could get the color of unconditional and universal love, I want you to imagine that pouring in through the top of your head, going wherever this guilt is, and starting to blend with the color of guilt that you had. And blend with it and blend with it. It's like painting a wall. Have you ever done that, where the wall is a dark color and you want a lighter color? You've got to give it several coats of paint, don't you? Until you can get to the point where, hello, you're getting the color come through. That's what's happening here. I want you to imagine that color of unconditional love diluting, shading out the old color of guilt and replacing it with this new unconditional color of love. The thing is about love is that it is actually getting in and healing at the same time. So wherever you've been holding on to this guilt, it's time to let it go. And just imagine as you do so, change, see how the shape of this changes. Maybe it moves even somewhere else. Wouldn't it be great if you've done the change and it's unconditional love, that you can now move that unconditional love to your heart or your gut? Because these two places are where we can experience the most about our world. That's right, very good. And as those changes start to take effect, and sometimes it can happen really quickly, and sometimes it's a bit longer. As I said, this can happen outside of this recording too. You can just check in a day or two. And I don't know, maybe you'll start to notice a difference for yourself. Oh, that feels different. Something's changed. That's right, something has. Even in this short amount of time. I want you to feel better in some way and tap into that relaxation that we started with. So that before I bring you back towards the now, your unconscious mind can take and store all these new learnings in that place where it stores all your learnings, so that whenever you need it in the future now, they'll be there for you. Nothing for you to do from a head point of view. Your unconscious mind's got this. So I'm going to count you back from 1 to 5 with 1. Just allowing any remnants of clearing up and tidying up taking place. Letting go, too, of whatever else you need to let go of that's going to help you the most, not just now, but in the future. 3. Beginning to come back towards the now with a new energizing way of being, knowing that you're different, you're better than you were before in some way. 4, allowing yourself to become more aware of where you are, there you are, allowing the sensations to return to your fingers and toes. As 5, you come back into the room, ready to get on with your day, feeling better, brighter.